the most shocking, the best precious metals oriented video that I have ever seen. It's going to shock you at the end. Yeah, there's a massive surprise at the end of this video. And I need to warn you, watching this video may make your blood pressure go up. But one thing that won't make your blood pressure go up is when you come down here and join me in the basement. It's a big deal. I really appreciate you coming down here. Basement dwellers, we love to talk about silver, gold, sound, money. Please subscribe to the channel. Just press that button. That's free. You can leave a comment. You can share it with anyone. And super chats and super thanks are always super appreciated. So this video popped up on X and I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, this I think sums up what we've experienced over the last 50 years, but even more importantly, why we choose to look at sound money options. And again, I'm going to warn you, there's a shocker at the end of this video. So we're going to start watching the video. I'll pause it a few times and give you some commentary. Here we go, guys. Let's put it up on full screen and get us back to the very beginning. Here we go.
America's gold was supposed to back the dollar. Leaving the gold standard was the most costly mistake we ever made.
What was so bad about gold?
It kept them honest, but they wanted power. You know, kid, folks today think this is just how life's supposed to be.
What do you mean?
Back in my day, one job could feed a family. My mother stayed home, father worked, and we ate together every night. Didn't realize.
Now, I want you to think about that. I was born in 1970. The United States went off the gold standard in 1971. I can tell you, I grew up in a very middle-class family. I'm a middle-class guy. I was actually in the Steelworkers Union during summers when I went to college. But back then, my dad just had to work. And we had a great life, a nice middle-class home, 2 cars. We even went to Disney World. What happened? Oh, we went off the gold standard. And by the time I was 10 years old in 1980, guess what? My mom had to go to work. Guys, this gets even better. I'm going to go back to the video because that's what you really want to see, not me. And let's keep watching.
That's how good we had it. After the World War, they promised gold-backed dollars, but they broke that promise. They printed paper backed by nothing, funded wars we couldn't afford and shouldn't have been involved in. But France caught on and sent a warship.
We're going to stop there for a second. So what really brought on this end of the gold standard of sound money in this country was, a lot of people say, the Vietnam War, because they needed more money to pay for the Vietnam War, but they didn't have gold. So that's why President Richard Nixon on August 15th, 1971, went live to the United States people and said he was temporarily taking the dollar off the gold standard. Temporarily. Here we stand, what, 54 years later? And it's still temporarily off the gold standard, off gold being backed by gold. But what's crazy to realize is the fact that during that period from 1971 through today, the US dollar has lost 99% of its value versus gold. Yes, the dollar's down 99% in value versus gold from August 15th, 1971, when President Richard Nixon temporarily took us off the gold standard. All right, let's watch a little bit more now, guys.
Back their gold. Truth is, if more countries followed, our vaults would be empty and game over.
I have directed the Secretary of the Treasury to take the action necessary to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold.
Turns out, when you fake the money, everything else follows, and you screw the next generation over. And it snowballs, kid. Prices shot up, paychecks didn't, life got tougher, and nobody knew why. We tried raising our kids the old way, but we didn't have the time or the money.
So you outsourced parenting?
Yeah, I guess you could say we did. Government schools raised them, and the TV taught them bad morals. They learned debt, not savings.
Okay, guys. So the ramification of going off the gold standard, and it's true, right? What middle-class family can afford now for just one parent to work, right? And to have a house payment, car payments, try to have some fun, try to eat. It just plain doesn't work. It has had major implications on society. And look at some of these implications are now next that they point out in the video.
Houses they couldn't afford, played video games, gambling, antidepressants, and crimes. Families fractured, divorce rates doubled, birth rates plummeted. Things got so bad, people started financing Chipotle.
Financing a burrito.
There's even a little bit of humor put in there as well. Financing a burrito. We're going to finish watching the video in 1 second. But the other important fact to remember is that in 1971, when Nixon took us off the gold standard, the United States had a little under $400 billion in debt. 400 billion, which is a lot, right? Nobody heard of trillions back then, kind of like quadrillions are now. But today we're sitting at $37 trillion in debt. And if my math is correct, that means that the national debt since 1971 hasn't gone up by 10 times, but has gone up by 100 times. We've become a nation of debt, and we've taken the world with us. While we have our 37 trillion in debt, it's well documented that throughout the world, there's over $300 trillion in debt. And I think it's Ray Dalio who pointed out all that debt, all those $300 trillion in debt, there's actually people out there that think they're going to get paid back. But realistically, it doesn't look like the world will ever be able to pay the debt back, or possibly the United States. Okay, back to the video. And then don't forget, there's a shocker at the end of this video.
Yeah, it's getting bad. Obesity, people eating cheap slop instead of real food. We got softer, sicker, and lazier. A nation in decline. But it didn't happen overnight. When Nixon left the gold standard, we traded sound money for a lifetime of debt.
How will they ever pay it back?
I don't think they plan to. Both sides keep spending like there's no tomorrow and leaving the bill to your generation. We didn't get it right, but you've still got a chance. So, take the reins, kid. Hold your ground and don't give up on sound money.
All right, here comes the shocker. Okay, this is a video about precious metals, right? Start using the new gold standard. It's a Bitcoin video. It's a crypto video from TFTC Productions. Thank you.
America's gold was supposed to back the
Let's
dollar.
get back here. Sorry, we're dealing with live here, and you know how that can get. So at the end of the day, at the end of that video, what we learn is, right, that future generations are in big trouble in this country. Unfortunate. You likely, I likely didn't cause it. We're not in favor of it, but that's what's going on. But the shocker there is that it's a video that was made by a crypto media company. And about Bitcoin, they mentioned Bitcoin at the end. And I just want to point out, right, like there's people in the precious metals community that aren't real fond of cryptocurrency. And there's some in the crypto world that are maybe not so fond of precious metals. But guys, here's the reality, because I've got my foot in both sides at this point. Crypto people and precious metals people, we are cut from the same cloth. They're like crypto people and precious metal people are like twin siblings, okay, that are like part of the same family, almost identical, but maybe have some sibling rivalry. And it's not all. There's a lot of people in crypto that love precious metals and vice versa as well. And so I'm not making this a statement pro or con of either one. What I am saying is that there's a lot of people in precious metals and there's a lot of people in crypto that understand what that powerful video just demonstrated, right? That money that is backed by nothing, right, will eventually become worth less. I won't say worthless, although there's a strong history in pointing out that most fiat currencies do become worthless. All right, guys, I wanted to share that with you. I thought it was an awesome example of what's happened since 1971 and when they took us off the gold standard. I think I've got everything out here. Oh, here's one more big important thing about this. Look, it's really sad how the middle class in the United States has been gutted since we went off the gold standard. And there's no other way to say it, right? But what makes it even crazier to think is that since 1971, because of all different types of technological advances, and I just don't mean smartphones and TVs, I mean in manufacturing, in everything, right? That we've had such massive strides in the last 54 years in technology that actually life should be easier. The average person could have a lifestyle, some would argue, have a lifestyle even better than that lifestyle that most families enjoyed back in 1971, which most middle-class families today would find envious, right? My house I'm living in was built in 1965, this basement, okay? The people that lived here in 1971, right, the way they lived was very much easier than what Susie and I are experiencing today. Does that make sense? I mean, with all the technology, all the efficiencies that the world has gained in the last 50 years, we, instead of living worse off than our 1971, should be living better off, right? Look, what we also know is that since 1971, the U.S. dollar has lost 99% of its value versus gold. So silver, gold, when I talk about precious metals, obviously I'm talking about both. They've proven themselves as a sound way to protect our wealth. I want to say thank you to channel sponsor First Mint. They're a mint in Las Vegas, Nevada, creating world-class silver bullion products. If you want to get your hands on some silver, here's their latest Las Vegas round. I love this thing. I love the products they make, which are all unique. Okay, they're part of First Majestic Silver. First Mint has a unique advantage, right? When you buy silver from First Mint, it's coming from the mine directly to the mint, directly to you. There's no COMEX, no LBMA involved in that. You can learn about them at firstmint.com, and there's a discount code, VIPRB. And of course, our friends at First Mining Gold, right? They're a gold. They've got millions of ounces of gold in the ground in Canada. They're a development stage company. That means they're not actively mining yet, but they're in the process of developing these big deposits, which they have defined. They have Springpole in Ontario and Duparquet in Quebec. It's gold in the ground, and we're talking about millions of ounces. You can learn more about them at firstmininggold.com. Also, of course, thank you to Ledger, the cryptocurrency hardware wallet security leader, and MoonPay for sponsoring Ron's Basement. Have a great day. I hope you enjoyed that video. I hope you found it as moving as I did. I thought that it was very well produced. And then the shocker at the end that it actually came from a crypto media company. Have a great day. Be good to yourself, and I'll look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.